What up, y'all? I'm on a nice long morning walk. It's the day after Juneteenth, and I'm out here. Got my Cookie Man shirt. Said Cookie Man. Cookie Monster. Tired, just rolled out of bed. Literally just rolled out of bed, man. I was going like this while I was walking because my hair was all matted down. I said I'm not talking about the earbuds. That's right. Got to remember what I said. Okay, look. This is gonna be a long video, y'all. I'm probably gonna break this into two parts. So I'm not gonna say this person's name, but if you know anything about neurodiversity or you know how to use Google, you're gonna know who I'm talking about. And we need to have a conversation. The person who initially coined, the first person to write about neurodiversity at length, they have some very transphobic views. I know this person. This person is a friend. I care about them. I care about their well-being and their livelihood. I know them personally. I've had many conversations with them. I know a lot about their struggles. I know a lot about their life and their background, which is incredibly interesting. The person, which is in their book, is Jewish, white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Jewish. Important piece to note. Jewish, identifies as Jewish, does not identify as white. And her parents were Holocaust survivors. Now, I don't know fully if they were in concentration camp enough or not, but I do know that they fled. That's one of the reasons why this person is isolated, distant from their family. But there's a lot, right? A lot of us who've known this person for a long time, we've known this about them. They're in their 70s and have a lot of like racist uncle, racist aunt vibes. They're not racist per se. Again, I love this person. I care about this person. They are also unapologetically transphobic, and I absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it. I've had conversations with them about it. So let me walk through some thoughts. Y'all gotta remember, I don't edit these, right? In this era of finely edited, polished apologies and explanations, it's not what I do. I promise you there will be some edited videos on this channel, by the way, but this ain't one of them. All right, so look, y'all, Twitter, in the world of Twitter, there is a therapist Twitter, right? And there's a black lesbian woman who has been catching flack in therapist Twitter just because she don't want to meet with black men. She's probably had her own experiences with black men. She's a black woman. Like I said, she's a black lesbian woman. Brothers from around the world on Twitter were giving her a hard time. All right, I'm trying to curse a little less. I don't curse that much on here, but I curse a lot. They were giving her a hard time, y'all. Like a really hard time. We're trying to get her fired. This black woman owns her own business. You ain't getting her fired, okay? They were calling her names, saying that she's the only reason why she hates black men is because she's a lesbian, all this other stuff. That's not true. She doesn't hate black men, right? We all have our areas that's too much for us, right? For her, for some of her experiences, and because how a lot of brothers act towards her, she can make the decision to say, this is not who I work with. Now, the argument on the other end was, black men are in trouble. We need a lot of mental health attention. And you're a black woman who's a mental health therapist, and you're saying, I don't work with black men. You're harming black men. You could look at it that way. But they also don't understand anything about private practice therapy. It's not the same as medicine. We have these close, very intimate, professional relationships with our clients. We have to go deep. It's all about the relationship. And we are humans with our own biases, our own prejudices, all of that. And when we know something that has a lot of trauma, has a lot of issues for us, it can prevent us from being the masterful clinicians that we are. So she doesn't work with Black men because it's a point of anxiety and frustration and rage and probably trauma at that point. And that's okay. But she doesn't disrespect them. Well, mostly, unless they disrespect her, which I get it. I know another brother, another Black person, I know a brother who, awesome dude, does some good work in his hometown, a place where most people come from. They leave, they don't come back. I'm turning around because I think I'm about to get caught in some rain, y'all. It's it's raining. This brother was in the Army for, I don't know, like 16, 18 years, almost 20, for a long time, right? This brother does a lot of great work in his community. I love him. He's a friend of mine. He does not work with veterans personally because it's too much for him. It's too much for him to deal with. It's an emotional spot for him. He's got a lot of trauma, probably PTSD and other stuff around that. So it's not what he does. People don't understand that when we're aware of our biases and our boundaries, that we enforce them in order to do our best work. Now, all of this is not some kind of excuse for the person I started talking about originally. It's wrong. It's bad. It makes me very sad that this person doesn't just hold these perspectives in their life, this very damning perspective of trans folks, right? It's that they're so damn vocal about it. It's that they're so damn committed to it that they want everyone to see it. So to me, as a mental health therapist, probably means that there's something else going on. There's always something else going on for all of us, right? Myself included. So let me walk you through something else. The Black experience. Now, I'm specifically speaking about the Black American experience. And any Black folks who's living in America, but especially Black folks who descended from enslaved Africans. And we just had Juneteenth yesterday, right? Some of y'all, white folks mainly, don't understand what it's like to love something that doesn't love you. Something that you don't have a choice about. Now, I know a lot of people, white folks are people just like everyone else. A lot of white folks have problems. A lot of y'all, I know y'all, and I got plenty of white friends who watch these. A lot of y'all, well, maybe not a lot of people watch these, but whatever. So a lot of white folks, just like anybody, has problems with their parents, siblings, aunt, uncles, cousins, friends, and sometimes you really can't distance yourself, but so much. You can detach with love, but even that is really hard, and that comes with its consequences, right? But still, on the scale of Black folks in the US, you don't know what it's like to love something that not only doesn't love you back, but hates you. Something that flourishes and does amazing, but hates you. Something that changes the course of history and society and civilization as we know it, and it was built off your back, and you never got anything for it. And in fact, you got ridiculed and criticized for it. It's the Black experience. I actually do love the US because it's the only country I know in terms of a residence. I've visited India, I've been to Canada, haven't done that much travel. I loved India, but the US is my home. The US is where I know my family history. I know it goes beyond the US, fully embrace myself as African American, but it goes beyond that, right? But I also hate the US at the same time. And for some white folks that I know who absolutely love this country because it's a representation of them and they don't go deep, that offends them and they get very upset. So from a young age, most black people come to this conclusion. You wrestle with these complex nuances that are a part of life, of loving something that hates you, of loving who you are, but understanding who you are is built on top a legacy of blood and hate, right? White folks have that too. A lot of y'all just haven't processed that. That brings me to cancel culture. Woo. Cancel culture is a lot of different things. If you think about it, black folks have been cancel culture in the US, as well as indigenous Native Americans have been doing cancel culture since white folks came over here and brought us and tried to take their land. We've been canceling the shit out of those folks, okay? They have many wins, but we've been canceling that whole thing, right? But there's a different aspect of cancel culture when you have a very prominent degree or identity, rather, of privilege, right? It becomes more bold. So one Twitter friend I told you about, black lesbian woman who said like, hey, I can't work with these black men, I'm not seeing them. And these brothers went wild. They have a identity of privilege as a man. Black men, yeah, we have some privileges. Everyone in the world has some, but it ain't really the same when you talk about black people. Every privilege we have is capped. It's very different, but we still have some, okay? They're like individual and situational privileges, but we have some. And so when you saw those black men, those brothers leveraging that privilege to go in really hard, it carried a different weight. They were trying to cancel something without understanding it. Now, those brothers was just in the wrong. They were hurt, and I understand they're hurt because I'm a brother, but they were also just wrong. And that woman had the right to do what she wanted to do. My homeboy, who doesn't see veterans, had the right to do what he needs to do, but he does a lot of good work. Black folks in the US, we got the right to hate this country, but we also love it too. It's hard balance. So this person who initially coined and wrote about the theory of neurodiversity at length, there is another scholar, well, she's not a scholar, but another, well, the person who coined the term is not a scholar. This person is a scholar, Dr. Nick Walker. Dr. Nick Walker is a trans woman and took the original writings of neurodiversity and synthesized them and saw what was trying to be said, which wasn't fully articulated. Because you have to remember, the person who originally wrote about neurodiversity and coined it, that was their bachelor's program. That was in Australia, so a bachelor's program is a little bit different. It was their honor thesis for a bachelor's degree, but they weren't a trained scholar. That doesn't mean that they're not brilliant. The smartest people I know aren't PhDs, and I know a lot of PhDs. I know some absolutely brilliant people, some people that are scary smart. And to be honest, I'm scary smart, but I'm not. There's a lot of people who are way smarter than me. I'm not dumb, okay? So Dr. Nick Walker is a trans woman. They maintain all their physical characteristics that they've had since birth. So in their physical appearance, they look more like a white man. But Dr. Nick Walker is a trans woman. She's also brilliant and synthesized the three components that we know of now: neurodiversity and the theory of biodiversity. Neurodiversity paradigm, right? The neurodiversity movement helped us all better understand this movement, this theory, and all the dimensions and complexities within the initial writings that weren't that clear to begin with, but were all there. Well, the person who initially coined the theory of neurodiversity, like I said, transphobic, racist against trans folks, whatever you want to say, right? So they don't like each other. I don't blame Dr. Nick Walker. She has every right to not like the person who, I'm saying their name, not saying the other name. That's not fair. It's not fair to me. They have every right to not like Judy, okay? They have every single right to not like them, to never want to mess with them. I love Judy. She's a good person. I also love America, okay? You're starting to get it now. Ooh, it's starting to click. Y'all thought I was going somewhere to support the hate. It's not where I was going. It's a lot more complex than that, y'all. I don't support the hate. Sometimes I just have to deal with it because for black folks, we know the importance of our heroes. Martin Luther King was sexist and, cheated on his wife all over the place. I think black people ain't know that when it was going on, but we needed him. Malcolm X was sexist as shit until he had his pilgrimage to Mecca and he realized Nation of Islam wasn't teaching the right things and all that sort of stuff, but he was sexist as shit, right? But we still embraced him because we needed it. I'm not saying that that's right. I don't even think that's good. It's a horrible situation to be in, but we need that, right? And it creates a different mentality. So anyway, I understand why Dr. Nick Walker does, and I've never talked to her. I don't understand like her personal views. These are just my speculations, but I understand why they don't talk to Judy, why they don't mess with Judy. I get it. I don't blame that. So cancel culture is really just people sticking up for themselves, people who really haven't always had a voice, and then they're exercising that voice to say no. Because what digital social media has always existed, by the way. We just have digital social media, which has been newer and has grown. Digital social media does something never done before in the world. Connects everyone in the world instantaneously who has access to it, right? And so movements grow at a much more rapid pace, which isn't always a good thing. So we want to cancel these things. It connects people who have these shared marginalized identities and their voices become louder than ever before. Boy, and that's cancel culture. But when you have this identity of privilege that you have not unpacked and you are trying to cancel something, it comes off kind of strong. But at the same time, I don't fault people for trying to cancel certain things at all. I'm not saying to cancel Judy. You can cancel her if you want to. It's my friend. I will always talk to her. But as I said before, I knew 2 clinicians that don't work with certain populations, right? We are all called to work with someone. There are therapists who specialize in working with sex offenders. I don't want to work with sex offenders. I could not do it. But someone has to work with those folks, right? So I'm modeling right now what I want white folks to do. I love Judy. I'm not trans. I'm a cishet man. So it's a little easy for me to distance myself from her views and talk to her and love her and try to have a conversation to challenge her. I don't have the ability to change her mind. I can't cure her. I can't control her, and I didn't cause it. And same thing for me. I got my own hangups. So I'm working with her. I'm gonna talk to her. That's my friend. There are some people, some friends I had who started saying some real racist stuff, and I had to distance myself. I had to exit out. So this is what I want from white folks right now, especially white neurodivergent folks who are really upset over Judy's words, okay? I want you to go as hard for racism as you are going for that. I'll take care of Judy. I love her. I'll talk to her. We work with who we can work with, and we recognize our shortcomings. This is a shortcoming for me, too. I was once heterosexist, homophobic, transphobic, all those things earlier in my life. But I read books. I watched documentaries. I counseled people. I listened to other people who were my friends. I watched some of my friends transition. One of my friends who I played lacrosse with in high school, have known for years, used to be roommates with one of my best friends in the world, transitioned to a woman. And I love them. I love her. She's a great person. I will always love her, right? I know other people who have transitioned years before that, and it challenged me, right? I had to grow. So I get it, y'all. I understand it. Don't judge me if you see me being quiet on social media, because I love this person and I'm working with them and I want to help them. I might not be able to, but I'm gonna try because it's worth it. And I'm gonna ask you to do the same thing, because neurodiversity, Y'all, it is a racist space. There's probably more black neurodivergent people because there seems to be this link between neurodivergence and trauma. And you go on any neurodiversity site, and it's almost exclusively white. A lot of people who are pretty big in the neurodiversity movement know who I am. I get people who reach out to me to do well-paid workshops here and there. But a lot of y'all don't reach out to me and give me work. A lot of y'all don't see all the hard work I've done and recognize it, and I could be really bitter and mad about it. And I am sometimes, but you know what? I got other shit to do. I gotta keep walking. I need y'all to pick up the slack, and I'll pick up the slack in the other spaces. Got it? All right, love y'all, keep walking. Said I was gonna make this 2 videos. This is just one long video, y'all. All right, peace. It's raining now.